Welcome back to the Voice of Students.
Powered by Onada, local part-time jobs. Now we're going to focus on classmates and the local culture of being in a foreign country. What did it feel like being away from home for an extended period of time?
I know for me, it wasn't too hard for me, especially because I do go pretty often this summer somewhere. But the cool thing about meeting other students is I didn't know anyone before going to the trip, and then I was stuck. You're stuck for 16 hours a day with a group of people, and it really makes you it's a great bonding experience because I felt in the first 2 weeks I felt like I've known them for years already, and that's an amazing thing that can happen only on trips like that. When it comes to the language barrier, it was always a bit of a problem there. And luckily I do speak Romanian, so for me, if people speak very slowly Italian, I can kind of interpret some things. It's actually a cool thing, the more languages you get exposed to, the easier it gets to learn a new one. So definitely that's one of the definitely big positives for the trip.
For me, because it was around, Christmas, I spent Christmas with my family and then got on a plane to go to France. So I missed New Year's with my family and stuff. But it was pretty fun. Overall, it was pretty nice. The group of kids, we got together pretty quickly, and everybody was really friendly towards each other. Nobody was cold or reserved or anything. So that kind of helped. You weren't you didn't feel alone.
And for me, like I said before, the language barrier was definitely apparent where I really just did not understand Nepalese, and it was hard to communicate with my host family and just the people of the village. But I had a great 5 weeks, and it was fun bonding with those 18 other kids, and I'm still even connected with a few of them.
Wonderful. Can you tell us how was the environment there, and can you tell us what kind of friends did you make?
One of the things that was, I think, most apparent right away in France is that the people are less. In America, everybody says hi to everybody. Everybody's chatty and smiley on the streets, and everybody's saying making small talk. In France, people did that less, and so it was kind of intimidating to talk to French people. Partially because I didn't know that much French, but also because people are more, a little bit more, they keep to themselves a little bit more. But once you start to talk to somebody, as long as they don't not like you, then it's pretty regular and normal. And I did make one of the guys I met somebody on the trip who I was rooming with and spent a lot of time with, and we're still friends now. We meet up. He actually goes to Rutgers too, so we see each other and hang out sometimes too.
Okay,
nice.
Interesting thing about Bologna is that it has the oldest university in Europe, and because of that, it's known as a student town. And I don't know if you compare it to other places in Italy. Apparently, people don't really speak English as much there. But when it comes to Bologna, and if you talk to students, most of them actually understand English very well, and they can speak back to you. And
I think our experience was a little uniquer though, because we had people that already were fluent in English. They were linguistics, so they had. So we were constantly around people that.
I did have moments when I tried to step away from that, just because I want to talk to people who don't really, who are actually locals, and it was always exciting to meet people. And I guess it's a advice you shouldn't take, but it's pretty easy to start a conversation there by asking a cigarette. I don't smoke, but everyone smokes there surprisingly. And if you ask for a cigarette, it's a great conversation starter.
Okay, how was the environment? Over there, how were the people?
Right.
And how some of the experiences you had with the friends that you made, some interesting episode that you had with the friends.
Well, there were definitely two distinct environments that I could recall. One was between all of the American or the Canadian and the Spanish girl, but just people who weren't from Nepal. We had our own connectivity. There were times where it was just us hanging out, and where sometimes it was nice to take a step back and not, because we were always in Nepal, always engulfed in the culture, just to have a step back and just have a conversation with someone who's also from America and understands where you're coming from was great. And then there was also the environment with just the Nepalese environment, which was also just so welcoming. The people in the homestead were just so happy that we were there to help out with the school project. Everyone, wherever you go, it doesn't even matter that they didn't understand English, I didn't understand Nepalese. I would just smile on them, give them a nod. They would smile, give me a nod back, and you just felt that like you were welcomed here.
So is there an experience that you can pinpoint as like the highlight of your trip, or maybe something that you remember that wasn't so great, but something that really stuck with you and something that you still, think about and tell people about?
It could be a good experience or a bad experience.
I think one of my favorite parts about the trip was after we were completed with the school, we built it 80% of the way and our time was up. And we really just set up the foundation for them to just have 2 new classrooms. And I remember we took a group picture next to like the portion of the school that we helped build. And it was just a point where like we did this. Like we came here like from America and with like these 18 kids, and like we built this school, and this is going to stay here, and the Nepalese kids are going to use this, and it's going to be there for them. And just I still have that picture. It's just a great moment to look back at, just showing that like our time there, not only did we learn, not only did we like understand their culture and like have fun, but we also like built something for them that they can always use and that they're probably using right now.
That's such a proud moment. That's nice.
I think the amazing thing is that when it's done, because it's done for the university, there's a very busy schedule for us. At least every day we had something going on, and it would be, sometimes events are pretty exclusive, and you get access to the places that no one else gets. For example, all the interviews we did interviews with, random tower owners, politicians, professors, really great minds they had there. And then we visited festivals. There was one we went to, it was in the Apennine Mountains. And it's like a celebration of the local culture when they would do their own dance, like Tarantella is I think the one they do a lot. And they would get us involved in that. And at first you try to pretend like you don't want to be part of that, you play it cool. But eventually you become part of that big celebration, and it's always exciting.
That's nice.
For me, I love art. I really like art and painting and all that kind of stuff. And Paul Cézanne, was an artist that I like a lot. He's an impressionist artist who was stationed in Aix-en-Provence. And so there's the Paul Cézanne Museum. They're very proud of it. And we got to see all of his paintings. He painted a mountain called Mount Sainte-Victoire a lot. That's close by. And at the end of the trip, we got to go up and climb the mountain ourselves. So we got to see it from where he painted it from, and then we got to go climb it and stand at the top, and you could see everything, and it was a really cool experience for me.
That's nice. What was one local food that you liked the most?
We had my hostess. We lived in a house, with somebody else. All the kids weren't together. We lived with local people who volunteered to house students. So my hostess was, she was an older lady, so she didn't speak that much English, but she cooked for us every night. And I never ate soup before I went there. And she made soup, and I cannot refuse to eat food that somebody makes. Like, I get scared, I don't want to be rude, so I'll just eat anything, even if I don't like it.
Anything.
Yeah, anything. And I liked the soup a lot, though. I was like, wow, I like soup. That's really cool. I learned something about myself. I also learned I really hate avocados.
So if I put an avocado in front of you, you're going to eat it?
No.
You said anything.
Well, but not you.
Sounded you cooked.
No. I did eat it. I knew I didn't like avocados. And she put an avocado in front of me and a spoon, and I ate the whole thing, and I was not happy. I didn't want to be rude.
Italians are very proud of their culture and food culture as well, and I mean they should be. It's amazing. But there's a interesting thing, the trend that they have here that's different from US. For us, we usually eat like on the go sometimes. We're always in a rush. For them, having like that dinner is like a time when you get to socialize with other people. For them, it's rude if you just like eat and like don't talk. And they actually have a time of the day. It's called aperitivo time. When for 2 hours you get to like local cafes. You pay like 5-6 euros for a drink. But the thing is, like everything that comes with a drink is included.
Oh,
it's like a buffet, like a small buffet kind of thing. And it's expected that you just sit there and relax, enjoy your time, and talk to other people.
What was your most enjoyable food?
So a thing that's kind of hard for me was that they don't like really customize, and like a lot of the Italian dishes that we have here are not real Italian dishes.
Okay.
So my favorite food, I was expecting to eat it the first night in Rome, and when we got to the restaurant, it was very difficult to find out that whatever is on the menu is what you're getting. They are not accommodating with that. So I learned to just eat it, and on it, like, it's all really good. Like, no matter what you order there, you're not going to get a bad meal. So if you order something from a category of food that you know you like if you eat chicken and pasta, any chicken and pasta you get is going to taste good. So aperitivo, and then, you know, all the snacks there, and then being able to like enjoy the dinner. It's just a completely different culture where you're sitting with people and you're constantly socializing, and you get to relax and you get to drink, and it's cheap, and it's more of a college student thing, and it fit in the college town.
That's nice. What about you, Brett?
I have a pretty funny story when it comes to that. So there's definitely two distinct things where it comes to Nepali food that's different. One is the spice. The southeastern, like, oh my God, South Asian food was extremely spicy, and I have a story about that. But the second thing was that they didn't believe in utensils, so everything was with your hands, and you were expected to wash your hands before, and then there was a certain way to pick up like the rice dish and then eat it with your hands. And it was like improper or like rude to eat with like utensils, so all of us had to adjust to that. But back to the spice story was that one day we were like all the Americans, we were in like one of the rooms together and passing out like hot peppers, and a person, like the kids, would cut off a small piece of it and then like try it, and everyone was saying how like spicy it was. Whatever, it's a hot pepper. How bad could it be? That's what I was thinking. I grabbed the whole thing, ate the whole thing. It was the worst 10 minutes of my life. For the entire trip, if I had to look to see what the worst part of the trip was, it was those 10 minutes. Because no matter how much water I drank or anything, I would eat the rice. My mouth was burning. I started crying too. It was just so spicy. And for the whole trip, the kids would be, oh, Brett, remember when you had that hot pepper?
So they pulled your leg.
Oh yeah, they definitely pulled my leg when it came to it. But I mean,
Okay.
in my opinion, I just thought that it was part of the culture to experience it, especially because the Nepalese people, they saw me eat the hot pepper and cry a little bit, and like my mouth was on fire. When they ate it, it was like no big deal. It was just the culture difference.
I bet that's
Okay.
how you get their respect. If you can do that in front of them, be like, oh, you respect our culture.
I mean, I don't know how much the respect they had for me after that, but I was the only one who did it, though.
I ask these questions. How safe do you feel? What precautions you take for being safe? How reluctant were your parents to agree with your decision to study in a foreign country?
So I grew up near Philadelphia, like right outside Philadelphia, and we would go inside. My dad loves Philadelphia, and so we would go there all the time. And so like we grew up with the culture of like being close to big areas, and like, oh, you have to know what happens because it's a place, in a suburb, you're not really going to get lost from your parents the same way you could in a city. So they taught me a lot about like, oh, here's how you be safe, and here's how you do things for yourself, how you walk around for yourself, how you do all this stuff. So I don't really ever feel that unsafe anywhere. As long as I just feel like, as long as you're mindful of like where you are and what you have with you, like keep your wallet and your phone, where you notice them always, or your passport if you're in another country. Keep that safe. Don't leave it in the outside pocket of your backpack. Don't leave zippers open if you're walking around with something. Just be mindful of where you are and all of your things, and then people
So-
don't want to hurt you.
How did like your professors prep you? Because I know for Bologna as a town, it is a college town, and for us, like since it was directly through Rutgers, the university strategically picked Bologna because it's not a huge tourist town. So off the bat, they broadcasted it to us as it being a safer location.
Aix-en-Provence, because it's like a resort town or a spot. It's not like a tourist area, but it's like a nice, people retire to Aix. So it's generally like a calmer safer. They did sell that aspect of it. Like it's not Paris. There's not people all over the place. It's not humongous. You know, it's not Marseille where it's like the busier, more city aspect of it. It's kind of like, you know, off to the side, kind of like, you know, more peaceful, less you know, dangerous or anything.
So your parents were fine.
My parents are fine.
I feel like one of the big recommendations is to kind of try to blend in with the population, because that way, if you don't stand out, they don't really expect anything. But the thing is, if people know right away that you're American, I don't know why, but like they associate with maybe like money, and that you probably are not used to the place. So pickpocketing, like you said, you have to take precautions about pickpocketing and try to dress like they do. Do stuff they do, because if you stand out, you'll definitely be more like a target. And definitely one time when I definitely was sure that I blend in, and then out of nowhere, I had a person on the street. I think he was a homeless person. He like approaches me and he starts screaming, "American, American!" And at this moment, I was just like, "What did I do wrong?" But then he had a conversation with me, and he was actually asking. He started like trying to explain to me in Italian how he has a health bill to pay. But yeah, that was. If they know you're American, they'll probably approach you way more often.
Okay.
I 100% agree with that, Valentine. And the problem was that when we spent time in the homestead in this small community outside of Renipo in Nepal, but another portion of the trip was inside the capital. We spent a couple of days there in Kathmandu in Nepal, and the problem was that we're not blending in. Okay,
Yeah.
I don't look Nepalese. I don't look like I'm from Southeast Asia. But we got a speech from one of our counselors, and he said, I specifically remember this because we all had backpacks when we walked around the city, and we were trying to buy, because we were like traveling around, and we wanted to buy souvenirs or whatever we wanted to get, and we all had backpacks in the back. And the counselor, his name was Skylar, he said, there's one big difference between travelers and tourists. He said that you guys don't want to be tourists, okay? Tourists are targets, tourists are like the Americans, okay? You want to be travelers, okay? Travelers are savvy, they're smart, they know what they're doing, okay? And the advice he gave us was that, I mean, we all kind of laughed at him and shrugged it off, but I mean, I did it, and all of our friends did it, but he said that tourists have their backpacks in the back, and it's easily accessible for like pickpocketers or something like that. He wanted us to put the backpacks in the front and said that's what travelers do. So that's what we did.
We'll take a short break now.
We'll be back soon.